I want people to watch this documentary. I think it's very, very important that people watch it because you really go through person by person. You interview at one point the chief superintendent of the Israeli police. You look at photographs yourself, some of which are too gruesome to show on camera out of respect for the bodies. And there's a lot of sensitivity around that in Jewish tradition. So I don't want to go into each piece of evidence that's marshaled in this film because I want people to watch it. What I want to focus on a little bit with you is in the face of such overwhelming evidence, in the face of, a pogrom that was put on live stream by terrorists, there are people living in the freedoms and comforts of the West that are denying it. And I just want to read a few examples to you right now. Someone like Max Blumenthal, a commentator, journalist, who said that a woman's body found naked from the waist down was simply because women at festivals like to dress in skimpy attire. Another example, the prominent British commentator Owen Jones, who said there's no evidence of rape. This is a guy with 1 million Twitter followers. Someone like Brianna Joy Gray. She was Bernie Sanders' press secretary in 2020. She said, Zionists are asking that we believe the uncorroborated eyewitness account of men who describe alleged rape victims in odd, fetishistic terms. Shame on Israel for not seriously investigating claims of rape and collecting rape kits. How do you understand the logic or the worldview that leads people to say things like that?
Well, the first thing I want to say is please watch this film, and what you will see is a man named Rami. He is a huge guy, huge, like he towers over me. And he's a hero. I mean, the sirens go off on October 7th. He literally gets into his car with his own gun. He's a private citizen and goes to rescue people. And we go to a forest, and he says, here, these trees, there were women dead, naked, bloodied, graphic, legs spread. That's what he found.
Tied to trees.
Tied to trees. We named the film Screams Before Silence. This woman, Tali, who I interview, she said she's hiding in a trailer. And I went with her to that trailer. It was the first time she had been back.
And this is at the site of the Nova Music Festival.
Yeah. And she said, she would hear like a sound, like a scream, and then a shot, which meant someone was pointing a gun, scared, and shot. But then she would hear screams over and over. She's speaking in Hebrew, like, stop, no, 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 for like 15 minutes, followed by a shot. That sounds like rape, sexual assault. And when she got out of that trailer, on both sides were bodies, naked, from the waist down, where those screams were. I mean, it's just clearly rape. So the question is why? Why? I think there's 2 reasons. The first is that some of this has to be anti-Semitism. I told you I went from the UN to Europe, and I took these same witnesses to European parliaments. And there was a lunch that someone held, and we were all there. And this woman stood up and she said, I live in Paris. I run a nonprofit that deals with sexual violence and conflict. I've done this for 3 decades. She said, and these are her words, she said, I'm not Jewish. But I think there's anti-Semitism happening right now because in my 3 decades of working at this, every time this happens anywhere in the world, all anyone ever asks is, how can we stop it? And all of a sudden, for the first time ever, they're saying, did this happen? She said the only answer she has is anti-Semitism. And I do think that's part of it.